I am so excited to dive into yet another epic Rebel Radio conversation with my brand new friend, James Heppner. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad you're here today.
Thanks, Cindy. What's not to love when all you see is red? It's my favorite color. I have a little bit of red back there. I didn't want to overdo it, but thank you for bringing it. I love it.
And all my audience knows that we all do red over here.
Mm.
I love it. So before we went live, I shared a little bit of your numerology with you. And I'm curious, what stood out to you about that experience?
Well, you said something about the fact that I'm a bit like a hummingbird. So I'm here and then I'm gone. And I love hummingbirds because they're so full of intrigue and the mystery of being in movement. But when I observe the hummingbird doesn't seem anxious. The hummingbird just seems like it flutters and it's beautiful here and it's also beautiful there. And so I think that, and then building into that, and I think I shared this with you while you and I were talking, how I've never had the experience of numerology. Somebody do a reading and you asked me, would it be okay? Or is this what you'd like to do? And I said, sure, let's just go for it. And I just started taking notes because that's the way I honor and respect, because I want to learn from anything. But as I'm writing things down and you're like quarter way through, I'm like, wait a minute, just a second here. These are words she's using, but this is actually like what's coming out of my head. Like this is very weird. It's like you said, you can't make this shit up. And so, hey, I'm a fan of your work, which is absolutely brilliant. And you just did it in an incredible, as like anyone who's worked with you will know this. So you keep it tight and you deliver it. And we just sit here and go like, holy shit, what just happened there?
I love it. Yeah, I remember you asking me, did my wife tell you all of this? That's awesome. So, I know a little bit about you because of your numerology, but tell the audience, who is James Heppner?
That's a really, really, really big question. Who am I? Gee, I'm a bunch of things.
Yeah. Don't look around with simple questions here.
You know what? I think for a large part of my life, I was building into a narrative that James Heppner is a good person.
Yeah.
And it's true. I am good, but I'm more than just good.
Yeah.
I am also someone that does stuff sometimes that probably isn't that great. I mean for good, but I've realized I'm many things. I am both small and I'm big. I am both good and sometimes I'm not that good. I am both, how would I say this? I am both secure and very insecure. I am both bold and I can be kind of withdrawn. I once got my power, to say it this way, I once got my power, my inner worth from trying to solve to be one thing and trying to resist much of life. But then I realized, and I'm sure listeners that you have, like the ones that are into the firepower, the red, why not to ignite yourself into a new level of life? Like I'm a ferocious achiever. But instead of being like an anxious striver in the hamster wheel, trying to create something out of the fear of I'm not good enough, it's like, actually, how about if I let all of this belong? Like I am both a not messy person and a messy person. Like if you really want to know who I am, ask my dog. My dog, or ask my pillow who I am, because my pillow will reveal who I actually am. And why is it not the best news that yes, I can be a very kind person, but I like to think that who I am is a bunch of things. I am sometimes also not very kind to myself, and that unfortunately comes out towards my dog. I don't abuse him, but sometimes I go, Charlie, you're such an idiot. I use these words and he looks at me and he cocks his head and he kind of tail goes down and walks away. I'm like, I think he kind of rejects it. And it's like, yeah. So, I'm just a whole bunch of things. I'm a human being who has an unshakable love with life. I love participating with exactly what's in front of me. Like back in the day, I checked out over a decade ago. I checked out for 2.5 years, almost lost my wife, my marriage, my business. And I tried to eliminate a bunch of stuff and I realized that didn't work. I finally woke up from that stupor and I said, how about I start utilizing what's here in front of me? And so let's be honest, it's all the good news. And so I'm the kind of person that just literally says, you know what? I'm thankful I get to be here. I'm honored I get to be here. And right now I feel tears coming up, but I feel like I want to laugh at the same time. So that's who I am in a nutshell.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And that really brings in the conversation of unity, right? Which we talk about here all the time, is that all the things belong. We're human beings having this experience, and we sometimes feel shitty and we sometimes feel happy, and we're all over the place, but we're designed to feel the full spectrum of all of it, because all of it belongs. I love that you use that word belong. That's awesome. So what does unity consciousness mean to you?
That's an interesting perspective. I would say, well, that's fascinating. To me, unity is not either or, it's beyond duality. It's making room for the third thing to appear. Gosh, listeners, just take this in. How often in life don't we look at the tensions of our life and we're like, we wish that wasn't there? And I get it, because right now, I don't know why. I just feel like I'm choking up. Like, there are things that we wish, like, why is this? Why is this thing sent? Is it sent to destroy me? What is this? I feel horrible about it. What is this? Unity is to take, and I have a picture on the wall. There's a picture of a lion and a lamb on the wall. To me, unity is to take the energies, the firmness and the softness of life, not needing to choose which one, but bring both together. The unity of life is to take the tensions of life and really be like, holy smokes, and to honor the fact that without tensions, we wouldn't live. And tensions aren't good or bad. Tensions are. If you think about, like, imagine the shock of a car. There's a piston and then there's like a coil around it. And if that coil breaks, think about what your ride's going to be like. You're going to feel every bump. It's going to feel horrible. But tension actually smoothens out your life. Unity. I've got this little red thing here. I'm going to bring it forward. So this is a they call it a tensegrity device. And so if you look at it, these things in the middle, or this thing just kind of floats here because of tension. And if you imagine, if this is the human being has within it tension. So the skin holds all the tension together. And inside the tension that our body or our skin holds together, there's something free floating, and it's our skeletal system. And our skeletal system, because of tension, gets to support this incredible life. And so if I look at it, I go like, gosh, there's so much to just sit here and awe and wonder and be like, holy shit, I got to participate with this shit now. This is the best news ever. Right. Instead of being like, I have to choose, do I be firm like the lion or do I be like soft like the lamb? No, we got to have a fierce love. Fierce, that's why I love the color red. Fierce isn't to judge, should I be firm or soft? It's willpower. No, both and firm and soft. Unity in one. Boom, you just go, and you will discover, if you're in that state, that things flow from you, and it happens.
Yes.
Because you are created from source.
Yes, absolutely. You're gonna make me cry. I love it. So tell us a little bit about how do you devote yourself to this concept of unity consciousness and still run a business, coach, do those types of things? How do you manage this as an entrepreneur?
That's a great question. If I would just say consciousness, what I actually, just in simplistic, I mean, it's many things, but just for sake of argument and time here, I just say consciousness to me, I wrap it around the word awareness. And so back to, like, I earlier mentioned Charlie, my little pup. He's a short, small little Maltipoo. He's a cute little dog. He deserves all of my love and all of it. But I think when I think of awareness, if I would just think about Charlie, when I observe Charlie goes from like sleeping on the couch and being totally relaxed, and then all of a sudden he hears something or he smells something, and then he just flinches and barks. It's instant. And his survival response goes from like 0 to 100 over, like, just boom, happens. And I think, look about what an animal does. An animal like Charlie, the only thing he can do is look for where it's more dangerous or where it's most safe. He's solving for a survival need constantly. And that's beautiful, because for him, that's what he's doing. And he's helping us. He's supporting us in that way. It's great. So I think awareness, as a human, we have another ability. We can be like Charlie, which is actually, firstly, I think we have to be grateful that we get to focus on our survival needs. Like, if I think about it, when we say I'm not enough and I'm not worthy, like, if those are the survival questions, why not, instead of saying those are crap and just try to scroll past fast the survival needs and go to thriving. Well, hang on a second. Let's first be grateful for how not feeling enough is actually a beautiful thing. I'm not enough. You know what that then makes you and I aware, and all of us aware, that we get to co-create with source. We're not enough, being I am enough and I'm not enough. I feel like I'm not enough, which means I have need of another. That connects me. This is incredible. Or I'm not worthy. It's like what? I'm worth everything, so I'm going to be the privileged hog that sits on top of the throne and all you dumb nuts get nothing. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I'm not worth. It keeps me humble. It makes me want to be generous to people. I am both worthy and unworthy for all of this, meaning it just always alerts me in my ego to, are you sharing this? Are you being generous? Are you being grateful? So first step of awareness is what Charlie has. Charlie, it's beautiful. And unless we get into survival and be like thankful for it, and we just like, no, I want to be thriving. I want to be happy. I want to thrive. Screw survival. We're not going to feel safe. If you don't feel safe, you're never going to go for three. So you have to feel safe in your survival first and bring honesty and reality. It's the good news, both and unity, safe. The next thing, Charlie just looks for that. The human has another ability. Imagine this. You and I are looking towards each other now, but if you and I both look to the side for a second, just imagine, listeners, just wherever you are, just stare out the window, or if you're, there you go. I'm just going to stare. So you're doing the same thing. I'm not looking, like, all I see is I see a set of blinds. I'm not looking for safety or danger. Right. The human being has the ability that an animal doesn't. So consciousness, the awareness is to go beyond, but beyond, not in spite of survival, but because of survival. So instead of saying, I conquer my survival, come on. Listen, the human doesn't move unless you feel safe. You got to look at your survival every day and be like, yeah, how is it the good news? I feel both worthy and not worthy. And then see both sides, make it safe. And then from there, you get to really, so I don't know if that answers your question, but I mean, there's so many different ways of going into this, but I think true wealth is emotional wealth. It's your instability comes from, if you're very unstable in life, I think it simply comes when you try to unground yourself from that 0 point, like you said, like the source, that 0 point, that's circular. And when you buy the narrative of linear, you lose yourself. It's when you say there is a beginning, there is an end. And it's like my wife said the other day, and I'll leave it at this. She says to me, we were just talking about different projects. And then she says, just remember, James, there's no destination. I said, wait, what? And I know that, but she's like, well, we don't know if there's a destination even on the other side. Like when you die, there might be, there might not be. We have not a clue. We hear about things, but not really. We don't hear about those people coming back and saying anything. So we don't really know. But she goes, on this earth, what you're doing here, there's no destination. And I'm like, that is so good. Just to be reminded of that, right? So it's like, how could we take the firestorm of our life and allow that to ignite us into the opportunity to have a beautiful experience without saying, I'm trying to control myself and others to some end game, you know?
Right? Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And that's something that I speak to my clients about. We all, especially as entrepreneurs, we have these goals and we want to achieve these things in our business. Or, I've got clients who, I just want to hit that, that sacred $5,000 a month so that I'm taken care of and my bills are paid. And then I say to them, I'm like, cool, but why don't you become that now? Because when you get that $5,000 a month, that's not the best day of your life. Today's the best damn day of your life. And tomorrow's the best day of your life, and the next day and the next day. And pretty soon you're making $5,000 a month and you're like, shit, what's next? Right? Right? There is no destination. I love that. So good. So you touched on this a little bit, but I want to circle back around. You said true wealth is emotional wealth. Is that how you define wealth, or is there more to it?
Yeah, I think just based on I'm just checking in with myself as you asked the question. I'm just checking in with specific things that are happening inside of my world right now. And I mean, honestly, I just want to give you the most, reliable answer because I know people are listening. Of course, everybody gets to choose their own thing. But I would say, if I were to be completely honest, emotions control the experience of your life. And so it's so interesting. Like, think about it. If you're feeling really sad, and by the way, all emotions are safe if we let them be.
Yes.
But if you're feeling very sad, and in that sadness, you feel disempowered. If you look at it and if you experience what you feel when you go through that, that disempowerment is going to control the next action you take. When in reality, I think emotions, all they're designed to do. So listeners, just experience this for a hot second. Instead of us judging, is the emotion that I'm feeling now good or bad? Should I be here or not? Firstly, you can't flee your presence, so let's not try that. Okay. So if we stop fleeing our presence and we're like, okay, here I am with this emotion, the emotion is simply there to prime you towards taking your next proper action. That's all that it's there for.
Yep.
The emotion is never for you to be stuck, meaning I'm just going to sit here like a robin on a tree. The emotion, and here I go with the hummingbird. The emotion is to be like, I'm here, so I get to be there. But that doesn't mean that you're anxiously striving away from being presently where you are.
Yes.
It's to enjoy and let the anger, if you feel anger, let it serve you. But you see people stuck in today's world where the anger goes towards resentment, and it doesn't evolve. And anything in life goes through these stages. It goes through, we construct something, then we deconstruct it, and then we reconstruct it. So reconstruction is the new birth and the new life that it wants to bring. So life in and of itself, it's regenerative. It supports itself by creating more. So what's your anger creating? Awesome. So if you really want to get stuck, you'll just keep funneling down into like, you're going to join factions and you're going to get angrier and angrier. But instead, let that anger be like, and what is this emotion priming me towards now? Awesome. So I think the first thing you have to feel, again, here we go with safety. The human doesn't move unless it feels safe. You got to feel safe with your emotion. And so I would say your emotional place in life is going to control your experience, and it's going to control what you want to choose to act on now or later. And let's be honest, your emotions determine if you enjoy yourself or not. And if you don't enjoy yourself, you don't want to show up anymore. And if you don't show up, you don't participate, and then it's over.
Exactly. I love that so much, and emotion is just energy in motion. And the whole reference of the hummingbird, right? The hummingbird's constantly in motion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when we try to hold on to that hummingbird that it stops moving and then nothing happens. So we just got to let those emotions move, feeling safe in them. I love that.
I love how you said that movement has absolute need for participation. As soon as it stops moving, then the participation. So that, I think that's why I'm always moving. I'm not I'm not like, I'm very here, but when I'm after this, I'm very there.
I love that so much. Oh my gosh. I feel like I could talk to you all day long. This has been such a fun conversation. Love your energy. But as always, we end the show with one last question. What do you dream of for the world?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to get emotional saying this, and perhaps this is more so my dream, but I can't help but think that this dream is beneficial for the world. And I just hope that, I hope that I'll have the courage to do it. I hope that you'll have the courage to do this, all of the listeners for the world. And that is, we seem to have developed this inner talk about, let's get strong enough to hold on. And I would say that's super nice, but I hope that me and all of us included will have the courage and strength to let go and trust the free fall when it happens, because it's such a gift. It's just brilliant that we will have the courage to let go and trust that when we let go, there will be more than enough to support all of what's needed.
Yeah, I feel that. Thank you for that dream. Beautiful. Thank you for being on the show today, James.
Awesome. You take care.